2022, Dmitry Bivol sat atop of the boxing world, having just beaten the former pound-for-pound king, Canelo Alvarez, and former world champion, Zurdo Ramirez. Dmitry Bivol sealed his position amongst boxing's best fighters. A year later, saw Bivol make a routine defense of his WBA World Championship. In doing so, he has now propelled himself towards a dangerous assignment.
Artur Beterbiev!
A skillful assassin who slaughters all those who stand in his way, Artur Beterbiev occupies the seemingly unattainable throne of the light heavyweight division. Overwhelming his opponents with brilliance and brutality, his recognition within the sport continues to grow with each passing fight. But in Dmitry Bivol, Beterbiev faces an opponent who's as equally skilled, resilient, and possesses enough power to question his position.
The right hand lays Trent Broadhurst out, and it's gonna be all over. Dmitry Bivol explodes onto the world scene.
On June the 1st, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, boxing fans will see a continuation of the undisputed quest.
In the history of boxing, almost never have there been two undefeated boxer punchers who were both elite pound for pound in or around their best weight division in their primes, where it's like a 50-50 fight. So that, to me, that's the best fight in boxing in years that can be made.
In this episode, we go behind the scenes and take a look at those crucial moments that have propelled both fighters into the position to become undisputed. This is an Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol fight preview. To understand the importance of the most in-demand fight at light heavyweight, we begin the story with the division's current longest reigning champion, Artur Beterbiev. Before turning pro in 2013, the promising light heavyweight had a stellar amateur career, amassing 295 wins out of 300 bouts. Along the way, he won gold at the 2006 and 2010 European Championships, the 2008 World Cup, as well as a gold at the 2009 World Amateur Championships. His amateur feats would book his place for the 2012 London Olympics.
Representing the Russian Federation, the former world light heavyweight champion, Artur Beterbiev.
The quarterfinal bout came against the Ukrainian Alexander Usyk. Beterbiev started strong, unleashing heavy combinations that kept the southpaw retreating. Usyk, however, mounted a comeback in the later rounds, outpointing Beterbiev and going on to win heavyweight gold. Beterbiev shifted his focus towards the professional ranks, where his fan-friendly style would be more effective. Beterbiev would be moved through the ranks quickly as he was matched against former IBF champion, Tarvoris Thundercloud. A big puncher himself was expected to offer Beterbiev some resistance. Beterbiev would display dominance early, knocking his opponent down 3 times in the first round and stopping him in round 2. Beterbiev's constant aggression, ruthless body attack, and the mindset to inflict maximum damage to his opponents saw him gain 11 knockouts in his first 11 fights.
When you get in Beterbiev's mind and see if he can pass 4 rounds, since Beterbiev's never been past that.
Body shots here now by Beterbiev. He's got him on the ropes.
Yeah, that's how you make money, but he's standing straight up, and he's in trouble right here.
As is the case in boxing, whenever the spotlight is shined on one champion, another is waiting in ambush for his opportunity to disprove the status quo. Such is the case for Dmitry Bivol, a highly elusive boxer from St. Petersburg, Russia. He has just been crowned WBA World Champion in his 12th professional bout. Possessing an unorthodox style, defensive prowess, and a high offensive output, it was clearly apparent that there was a vibrant threat to the division's newly crowned champion. Dmitry Bivol's competitive nature could be attributed to his unique upbringing. Born in Kyrgyzstan to a Moldovan father and Korean mother, Bivol began boxing at the tender age of 6. His parents moved to St. Petersburg, Russia when he was 11, allowing Bivol access to the famed Soviet School of Boxing. He would eventually go on to win multiple amateur national championships, and ending his amateur career with a record of 268 wins and 15 losses. His career would transition quickly. As for his professional debut, he was scheduled for a 6-round bout. His opponent was Jorge Rodriguez, a seasoned fighter of 25 bouts. A dominant performance ending with a 6-round knockout, announced Dmitry Bivol on the world stage, following with quick succession of knockouts, backed by his in-ring IQ and vast technical abilities, saw Bivol secure 8 knockouts out of his first 10 bouts. Such was the display of dominance that it saw Dmitry Bivol being transitioned into the televised portion of boxing's premier network, HBO.
We don't see a guy with 11 fights taking on the skill of a wily veteran like Cedric Agnew.
The right hand, followed up, and a wonderful blistering lot of punches, and he's going to go down here.
After suffering a knockdown in round 2, Agnew chose to go on the defensive, refusing to engage, drawing boos from those in attendance. A left hook from Bivol suddenly caused an abrupt ending to the fight, with Agnew forfeiting in round 4. On the 8th of March 2018, in the Mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden, Bivol was scheduled to defend against Sullivan Barrera, a fellow seasoned amateur. He gained his experience in the world-renowned La Finca boxing gym in Havana, Cuba, suffering only 1 career loss as a professional. To the future Hall of Famer Andre Ward, Barrera was expected to be Bivol's most toughest test of his professional career thus far. The fight had began as expected, tactically trading heavy punches and displaying finesse, heading into the later stage of the fight. The momentum, however, shifted in favor of Dmitry Bivol, who pressed Sullivan Barrera, unleashing a wide range of punches, slowing him down. With the recent termination of HBO Boxing, Matchroom's CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn would sign with DAZN, a global televised network, came along with $1 billion incentive, hoping to add boxing to the forefront of its viewership. Beterbiev was amongst its signees and was to defend against his mandatory challenger, Britain's Callum Johnson.
Callum Johnson! Artur Beterbiev!
What was expected to be a tactical boxing match instead became a tactical brawl.
And now they start to train Beterbiev immediately.
Going back and forward, trading punches, Artur Beterbiev would catch Callum Johnson on the ropes, dropping him with a vicious right hand. The action would continue headed into the second round. This time, Johnson would catch the Russian in between punches, sending him to the canvas.
Oh, stuttering! And he's wobbled!
Beterbiev would proceed to trade with Johnson, luring him in close quarters, landing short, thudding punches.
Johnson goes down, right? It happens that fast. He has that type of power. His punches are that short. You barely see it, and Johnson goes out.
The following year would see Artur Beterbiev sign with Bob Arum's Top Rank Boxing, exclusively fighting under the ESPN banner. In doing so, he was able to gain access to higher-profiled light heavyweight opponents. Sergey Kovalev, Alexander Gvozdyk, Joe Smith Jr., Jean Pascal, Eladier Alvarez, and others alike, made it a high-risk, high-reward situation. Tour's expanding presence within the division took another giant step when he faced the newly crowned WBC champion, Alexander Gvozdyk, in what was to be another high-profile showdown with ESPN.
WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, known as the Nail, Alexander by way of Chechnya, Russia, IBF light heavyweight champion of the world, Artur Beterbiev.
A sold-out crowd in attendance at Philadelphia,
Long.
By the 9th round, it was notable Gvozdyk had enough, with his trainer Teddy Atlas trying to recharge his confidence.
It's hurt. Gvozdyk goes down. Here comes Beterbiev. He wants to close the show. Artur Beterbiev is the unified light heavyweight champion.
With 2 out of the 4 belts safely in his possession, the unified champion would now direct his attention on the division's remaining titleists. Sergey Kovalev would avenge his unexpected knockout loss to the Colombian, Eladier Alvarez, reclaiming his WBO world title in the process, making a mandatory defense in his hometown of Russia to Britain's Anthony Yarde. The Russian started off strong, dictating the pace and unleashing a wide range of power punches, keeping the young challenger searching. Kovalev began to tire, allowing Yarde a chance to come back into the fight.
Big right hand. This is the opportunity. Left hook from Yarde at the right. He's got the champion going. Oh, tremendous attack. Big headshots from Yarde.
Kovalev miraculously weathered the storm, trapping an exhausted Yarde on the ropes and unleashing a speedy set of combinations, gaining an 11th round knockout.
He's gone. It was the left hand that did it. And the fight, I think, is all over.
Less than 4 months later, Sergey Kovalev would defend against the pound-for-pound king Canelo Alvarez. Canelo would be making his debut at light heavyweight. Kovalev would outbox the challenger, pitching a shutout on all the scorecards. Feeling a sense of urgency, the Mexican unleashed a fierce left hook in the 11th round, followed by a combination, sending the champion down for the count.
Well, he's caught him with a left hand and his balance went completely and the referee waves this one over.
Canelo relinquished the WBO world title, opting not to engage in a unification. Dmitry Bivol would continue his form of dominance, dispatching a former world champion Jean Pascal with surprising ease. Bivol's next bout was scheduled against Joe Smith Jr. Known to cause career upsets, Smith knocked out the heavily favored Polish fighter Andrzej Fonfara in just 1 round. Carrying that momentum forward, he was picked as a retirement fight for Bernard Hopkins. Headlining on HBO, Smith was expected to be easy pickings for the legendary champion. Instead, the young challenger would batter the wily veteran, sending him through the ropes in brutal fashion. Unable to beat the count, Joe Smith Jr. was declared the winner and announced himself in the light heavyweight division. The fight would start with Bivol taking center stage, outboxing Smith from a distance with a sharpshooting jab, not allowing Smith to build momentum. Despite Smith's rugged approach, Dmitry Bivol would coast on his way to a unanimous decision. Unable to secure a fight with his fellow compatriot, Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol's team would look to navigate through various opponents, keeping his campaign of defenses continuous. A comfortable points decision over Lenin Castillo, a competitive defense against Craig Richards, was followed by a routine win over Umar Salamov. With his momentum temporarily restored, and the division's other title holders currently occupied, a career-defining opportunity presented itself at the perfect moment.
Legacy is earned is a strapline for this event, and I don't think anything could be more fitting. Canelo Alvarez challenges Dmitry Bivol for the WBA light heavyweight championship of the world.
Fight after fight, division after division. The presumption that Saul Canelo Alvarez was unbeatable was considered the general consensus. World-level opponents and title holders, despite size and style, were easily dispatched with a combination of speed and power. Such is the dominance of Canelo Alvarez that it is considered the norm for him to break from his comfortability and seek challenges outside his normal weight division. For Bivol, it represented the opportunity of a lifetime, one that could propel his career to heights further beyond imagination. And for Canelo, it was the chance to show once again why his destructive dominance within the sport shouldn't be questioned.
And within 1 year becomes undisputed 168-pound champion by beating all 3 champions in Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant. If that wasn't enough, now he moves up again another division. Dmitry Bivol, undefeated, current WBA champion of the world. This is an outstanding champion that is in his absolute prime, ready for the opportunity of his life.
The reigning and defending WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol. Saul Canelo.
The two fighters stepped through the ropes in May of 2022. Canelo began the fight in typical fashion, pressuring Bivol to the ropes, landing hard combinations.
Up to the hand and right hand from Canelo, right hand from Alvarez.
But during the middle portion of the fight, Bivol made the necessary adjustments to take control.
Bivol has him hurt, hard right hand on the attack.
Owing to his amateur background, Bivol used a wide variety of offense, mixed with a unique ability to be in and out of range, keeping Canelo offset throughout the fight.
Bivol had a lot of success, Sergio, with the hook.
And still, the WBO heavyweight champion, Dmitry Bivol.
Terminating Canelo's reign of supremacy, Dmitry Bivol achieved what many fighters had failed to accomplish, handing the Mexican his second career loss since the great Floyd Mayweather back in 2013. Failing to secure a rematch with Canelo Alvarez, Dmitry Bivol would instead look further to challenges ahead. The challenge would arrive in the name of Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. A former WBO super middleweight world champion, the Mexican clearly held a size and reach advantage. Ramirez had amassed a record of 44 fights with no losses. However, detractors would view his lower opposition as a reason to make Dmitry Bivol the favorite heading into their November showdown. Both combatants would square off in Abu Dhabi.
The undefeated Gilberto El Zurdo Ramirez. From St. Petersburg, Russia, the reigning and defending undefeated WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol.
Thought to be a slow starter, Dmitry Bivol would start the bout quicker than usual, making his opponent fall short of his punches. The champion would unleash fiery combinations, keeping the Mexican bewildered through the fight.
Looks like he is dictating when the war is going to be made. He opens up now. He is applying a lot of pressure too, Sergio. It's almost sneaky power.
But he's doing the right thing systematically. He's breaking him down.
Don't be reaching in too much, okay?
Very smart ring generalship on Bivol's part.
Straight up the middle comes Bivol.
Really is impressive.
With back-to-back dominant performances, Dmitry Bivol would now be widely considered the best light heavyweight in the world. All plans were ahead for an undisputed clash against the unified world champion Artur Beterbiev. However, with the sudden outbreak of war between Russia and Ukraine, the WBC had announced a ban on all Russian fighters. This had left Dmitry Bivol ineligible to become undisputed champion. Unable to secure the fight he had hoped for, Dmitry Bivol would sit out the first half of 2023. He would make a return on November of that year against Britain's Lyndon Artur on the undercard of boxing's biggest event in recent years. Bivol would start the fight extremely aggressive, forcing Artur on the ropes, overwhelming him with brutal combinations.
Close look. This is what you asked for, Chris Mannix. He's letting his hands go. Hard jab from Bivol.
Another right-hand counter there from Bivol.
A lot of pressure being applied by Dmitry Bivol.
This is a great onslaught of shots. Head, body.
He's got to throw something.
With Bivol's continued stretch of dominance over the division, the boxing world would now clamor for an undisputed clash with the long-reigning champion Artur Beterbiev.
Very difficult to outbox him over 12 rounds. He's going to wear you down, he's going to force the pressure. And like I said, the shots around the back of the head, the shots on the ears, they really hurt. And I think Dmitry can do it, but it's the only fight for both guys now.
Despite Bivol's sudden rise to stardom, Artur Beterbiev would tighten his grasp over the division's lineal status, continuing to spread a reign of terror amongst the light heavyweight challenger.
Hits the canvas for the second time in this fight.
And a one-sided brutal beatdown of Marcus Brown.
Beterbiev all over him. And down he goes. 16-0. 16 straight knockouts of the light heavyweight champion Artur Beterbiev.
Would set up the division's second biggest fight of the year, a unification bout against the newly crowned WBO champion Joe Smith Jr., a hard-hitting brawler hailing from Long Island, New York. Referenced as the common man, he harnessed his boxing skills whilst working full-time as a union laborer. Having been unsuccessful in his first attempt at a world title, Joe Smith Jr.'s plan to reattempt this feat would not be an easy one. His first major assignment was against former world champion Lyndon Alvarez, known for being a big puncher himself.
The tree all night long.
What would be different in your second world title opportunity?
More prepared. Like I said, I got a lot more experience now.
Smith would next face off against Maxim Vlasov for the vacant WBO light heavyweight title. Being a student of the famed Soviet school of boxing, the Russian fighter had enough experience to divert Smith's plans.
Joe Smith Jr., Maxim Vlasov for the vacant WBO light heavyweight world title.
Two guys who have been waiting and waiting for that opportunity to break through to the next level. One of them will grab it here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Having the ability to move swiftly in and out of range, Vlasov would take advantage of Smith's brawling style.
Vlasov needs to be the best burglar that he can possibly be tonight. He needs to get in and he needs to get out without getting touched by that right hand.
What was expected to be another Smith Jr. knockout instead was a one-sided performance by Maxim Vlasov.
For Smith Jr. to go down to the body of Vlasov, keep looking at him, bring those hands down so that way he can land a kill shot up top. Those little shots are coming from different angles. There's just awkward punches that Vlasov is throwing.
Good exchange, and Smith Jr. gets the better of it. And now chopping with right hands. The tree cutter from Long Island looking to chop down the tall Russian.
What a championship fight is supposed to look like and feel like.
Has had that kind of pace, that kind of urgency, that kind of drama. The show they put on. Maxim Vlasov, Joe Smith Jr. Heck of a fight.
A 12-round brawl for all. Both fighters believed they did enough to win the bout.
The Beast from the East, Joe Smith Jr. Dreams do come true, and it happens for Joe Smith Jr. tonight. He is a world champion.
I want other belts. I want the big fights out there. I believe I'm going to start unifying belts.
Joe Smith would begin 2022 with a first defense of his world title. His opponent, Callum Johnson, tested positive for COVID, allowing Steve Jeffrard to step in on 8 days' notice.
WBO Light Heavyweight Championship of the World.
Joe the Beast Smith Jr. making his first defense of his title against Steve Jeffrard.
Fighting as champion in front of his home crowd, Smith would turn the aggressor early on, punishing Jeffrard from the opening bell.
Looking to set up those shots. He comes with that onslaught. Some of those shots get around clean.
Big shot from Joe Smith. That got through the guard.
Coming forward, just letting his hands go. Jafar pent up in the corner, not firing any punches back.
Fight is over. The corner has decided that the fight is over. A technical knockout victory for Joe Smith Jr., who successfully defends his title for the first time.
Yes, if I got Beterbiev next and beat him, I want Bivol next and unify all the belts, become the unified champ.
It was announced next that Artur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. had agreed to fight on June 1st at New York in Madison Square Garden.
This is a huge opportunity. Beterbiev's a huge name in boxing. You know, everyone knows who he is at this point. He has 2 world titles. And, you know, I want those belts.
You know, we're both ready for this fight. I think it's gonna be a good fight. We will see.
I love this fight. The two guys at their absolute prime with every sense of themselves when they step into this. Beterbiev, he's coming to destroy. He's coming to destroy. You get better or you get worse. Joe Smith has gotten better.
He is the common man, the Beast from the East, Joe Smith Jr. From Montreal, Canada, Artur Beterbiev.
They're gonna go and test each other. They're gonna test and see who can go to the darkest corners of themselves and still survive and still find a way and still come out on top.
A great clash of styles, 2 pressure fighters with punching power. I'm expecting an entertaining matchup. I don't see this fight going the distance because of the punching power that both these guys have.
He's tough as nails, just like Beterbiev. Physically strong, just like Beterbiev. Hard puncher with either hand, just like Beterbiev.
Beterbiev, undefeated, Russian tank. He's the underdog here.
Beterbiev hasn't faced a puncher like this in the pros.
These two guys are getting ready to throw down in a unification fight. Puncher versus puncher. That is the most anticipated stylistic match.
The highly anticipated bout would begin as expected.
He caught Smith coming in. action here, round number 2. Again! Another clubbing shot from Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev with over 2 minutes to work with here. The right hand gets around the guard. Uppercut tries to sneak in. There's a hook. There's an uppercut. Beterbiev's on the attack. Joe Smith is crumbling again into the ropes. Still with a minute and a half to go after it. Another right hand. Uppercut. Big uppercut. He is stumbling, and this is over. Defection. The destructive, demolishing, human wrecking ball of Artur Beterbiev.
Although the boxing world expected a fight with Bivol, his mandatory challenger was ringside, hoping to be next in line.
2 rounds. What did you make of that fight?
What I saw, it was an entertaining fight. It was a clash. I'll say clash of the titans, and I knew there was going to be some sort of knockout tonight.
Okay, so hopefully in the fall, yourself, Beterbiev, tell us what you know, what you're expecting.
What I'm expecting, or from what I've been told, that Betebiev is going to come to London. So again, we'll create a fantastic atmosphere in London, and that's going to be entertainment.
Beterbiev's next fight would be in the UK, defending his unified titles against his mandatory challenger, Britain's prospect Anthony Yarde.
It's going to be explosive as long as it lasts, and either guy has the power to put the lights out of his opponents.
For me, it's just I'm looking at another human being. I want to expect him to come forward. I want to expect him to box. I want to expect him to try and counter punch. It's about expecting everything and then give him something that's unexpected.
The challenger, Anthony Yarde. Reigning and defending unified light heavyweight champion of the world, Artur Beterbiev.
It's 4.5 years since Yarde was stopped by Sergei Kovalev, and once again he faces a dominant and dangerous world champion.
The unified champion would press the attack early, catching Yarde with heavy punches.
The counter from Beterbiev.
Yarde would comfortably box on the back foot, catching Beterbiev with quick punches as he came in aggressively.
Nice looping right there from Anthony Yarde. And here comes the firefight that we knew was going to happen.
Now the fight's he's a great finish of the champion. Yarde having to dig deep, having to weather the storm, trying to ride through it. An uppercut. Yarde's hurt. Betebiev turning round. Anthony Yarde needs the bell. Anthony Yarde down. A thunderous punch from Betebiev. Yarde having to take the count. Can he beat the count? Anthony Yarde trying to drag himself back to his feet. He's in terrible trouble. Anthony Yarde's corner. An outstanding fight. A classic fight. Both men gave absolutely everything.
Beterbiev does it again. 19 victories, 19 knockouts, 8 championship fights. None have gone the distance because this man is a destructive force.
Beterbiev was next to defend his titles against the WBC mandatory, Britain's Callum Smith. Suffering his only loss to Canelo Alvarez, the former undisputed super middleweight world champion, would hope to once again capture titles in another weight division. With the original fight date being postponed, the fight was reset for January the 13th in Beterbiev's hometown of Quebec City.
Beterbiev has beaten every guy we put in front of him, but it's not a walk in the park. Callum Smith is a hell of a fighter. It should be a great, great event.
WBC, IBF, WBO, light heavyweight world champion, Artur Beterbiev! Collapses and goes to the canvas again. This is
even the glancing blows and the punches that are blocked do damage.
You've got 3 belts. There's one left. It's with Dmitry Bivol. Is that fight next? And if so, when?
Yes, I won this fight. The last 4 years, he always says next fight he will do with me, but never do.
With an impossibility of the fight currently being staged in Russia, and both fighters being unable to generate enough financial interest in America, the boxing world was puzzled as to where this fight would be staged. With a recent bloom of tourism to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, enhanced by the kingdom's 2030 vision, an ambitious roadmap for economic diversification and global engagement. Amongst its focus was the furthering of sports, primarily developing boxing within the region.
You got one belt. Know you want the other 3 belts that are out there. Artur Beterbiev.
Saudi was interested to make great fight because we see they want to make great fights for boxing fans.
One of the best fights in boxing. That's the natural step for Dmitry now.
Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev for undisputed.
Absolutely, we want to do it, but Ramadan is coming. So Ramadan ends sometime in the middle of April. After the end of Ramadan, we'll be ready to fight Bivol, probably in Riyadh.
In a lucky circumstance, both fighters were present in Saudi Arabia, attending the Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou event. A brief meeting between the two would indicate the desire of both fighters to become undisputed.
We talk about fight, but we never fight.
This is on your list of dream fights. June the 1st. The dream becomes a reality. Unbeaten WBA, IBO World Light Heavyweight Champion Dmitry Bivol, perhaps the best pure boxer in the world right now. Unified World Light Heavyweight Champion Artur Beterbiev, perhaps the most destructive puncher in boxing.
I believe in my skills. I'm in boxing all my life, and I can beat everyone in the light heavyweight division.
It's exciting, it's everything. It's my goal. Another belt, 4th belt.
2 of the best fighters in the whole world. 2 pound-for-pound ranked fighters. It is quite simply the best versus the best.
Very skillful guy. He may be a little bit undersized for the weight class, the 175-pound division, but he's skillful. He has the ability and he has the potential and the mindset, I believe, to beat a guy like Beterbiev. And Beterbiev is a little bit different. He's physically a hard man. He's strong, but he hits extremely hard. He doesn't even have to hit you clean. He can graze you and you can have problems. And you know Bivol's going to box. That's going to be his game plan. And I think he can box and outbox Beterbiev.
So aggressive. He's such a destructive machine. You know how relentless he is. You know how hard he punches. Doesn't get credit for how good he is in other areas. He will have the mental resilience, the mental endurance to continue to do what he has to do when the fire comes, when the moment comes. And that moment's going to come with Beterbiev.
But he's also an underrated boxer. This guy's got over 300 amateur fights. He's come up in the Soviet system. Like he's a lot better skillfully than what people give him credit for, and he's going to be a hard guy to beat.
Talking about the 2 best 175-pounders in the world, styles, contrast, the whole thing, undefeated fighters, Beterbiev and Bivol. This is the light heavyweight fight.